Greetings to all peoples and kingdoms of Arda, and welcome to Shieldmaidens of Arda. The character of Éowyn, Shieldmaiden of Rohan, is one of the deepest and most difficult characters within Tolkien's world. Her wounds, desires, and ultimate decisions have sparked endless discussions among fans and readers. Today, on Shieldmaidens of Arda, we will have our own study of the character of Éowyn and her own journey through sorrow and hope. So sit back and let this Shieldmaiden be your guide into the wonderful world of Middle-earth. In this character study, we will be looking at Éowyn in 4 distinct divisions, and at how her character was changed and shaped through each section. Early life to the arrival of Gandalf and the 3 hunters, the healing of Theoden to Aragorn's departure for Dunhollow, Aragorn's departure for Dunhollow to the meeting of Éowyn and Faramir, and finally, Éowyn and Faramir together. These points are our own opinions, as there are many interpretations of Éowyn and her character, so feel free to tell us your views in the comments below. With that in mind, let's get started. By the time we first see Éowyn, she had already lived a difficult and somewhat tragic life. The cold, withdrawn visage that Aragorn met with reflected her act of pulling into herself and trying to protect herself from further heartbreak and further sorrow. Her father, Éomer, was killed in an orc raid when she was a young child, and her mother, Theoden, died soon after of illness. Éowyn and her brother, Éomer, were raised by their uncle, Theoden. The peoples of Rohan were strong and proud, striving for survival on a harsh land beset by orcs and enemies. That danger became even nearer and more deadly when Theoden fell under the influence of his counselor, a man by the name of Grima Wormtongue. Grima himself was in league with the wizard Saruman, and together they were working to bring an end to the kingdom of Rohan. Theoden was worn down and weakened by Grima's words, and Éowyn found herself trapped in a desperate world of a fallen kingdom, a failing king, and a grasping advisor. Saruman had promised Grima the hand of Éowyn for his services to the wizard, and it is evident that Grima himself was eager for that day to arrive. It is easy for us to imagine Éowyn, proud daughter of a Rohirrim royal, trying with everything that she possessed to avoid Grima's eye, to care for her uncle, to keep hope alive not only for those at home, but for her brother and her cousin fighting on the plains of Rohan. Already left with a wound of abandonment from her parents' death, she now struggled with feelings of hopelessness, powerlessness, fear, perhaps even shame. The noble part that she was called to play as a woman was slowly being reduced to that of a lowly slave in her mind by the seeming thought that her actions did nothing and could help no one, that her uncle was slowly dying and she was helpless to do anything about it, that the daily labor she was called upon to do was mean and lowly and unappreciated, and no one saw or took pleasure in it, that the only deeds of worth could be those that her brother and the warriors of Rohan performed upon the battlefield. But such thoughts did not come only from her own mind. Grima himself planted despair in the heart of the Shieldmaiden, as Gandalf so aptly noted. Think you that Wormtongue had poison only for Theoden's ears? Dotard, what is the house of ale but a thatched barn, where brigands drink and reek, and the brats roll on the floor among their dogs? Have you not heard those words before? Saruman spoke them, the teacher of Wormtongue, though I do not doubt that Wormtongue at home wrapped their meaning in terms more cunning. My lord, if your sister's love for you and her will still bent to her duty had not restrained her lips, you might have heard even such things as these escape them. But who knows what she spoke to the darkness, alone, in the bitter watches of the night, when all her life seems shrinking, in the walls of her bower closing in about her, a hutch to tremor some wild thing in. Therefore, when Éowyn sees Aragorn, she perceives in him something of hope. She sees power and courage and a glorious chance to lift herself from the lowly state that she thinks she exists in, and do something truly wonderful, truly noble, truly worthy. The love that she bears for Aragorn is not so much a love for him, but a love of what he might do for her and of what she sees in him, as Aragorn himself notes in the same conversation quoted above. In me she loves only a shadow and a thought, a hope of glory and great deeds, and lands far from the fields of Rohan. With the healing of her uncle, with the lifting of the shadow, with the departure of Grima and the coming of Aragorn, Éowyn's world is suddenly changed. She sees a chance for hope, and perhaps a chance for her to rise and perform deeds of a glorious nature, and redeem herself from the lowly state that she felt she had been reduced to. She seems to see this chance only in Aragorn, as her uncle's granting her rule of the peoples of Rohan, while he leads the war host to battle, only seems to frustrate her and drive her to desperate attempts. The wounds of shame, powerlessness, hopelessness, and fear are still prominent. In fact, they are heightened. She is growing and increasingly desperate. Aragorn, whom she sees as her one means to prove to the world and to herself that she has indeed some worth in her, is determined to ride away to an errand of madness and death. Her beloved uncle and brother will go to bring aid to the royals of Gondor. She is once again left behind, seemingly unnoticed, unwanted. She tries thrice to ask Aragorn to allow her to follow him, each time more desperate, more pleading. Éowyn's heart is fearful, and it could very well be that she desires to go to war not only out of a wish to do something worthy and of glory, but because she wants to give herself the protection that she has longed for so long. It is almost as if we see her cold shell of reservation starting to dissipate into frank desperation when she tries to appeal to her desire for him to win glory, along with her growing affection for him. Yet I do not bid you flee from peril, but to ride to battle, where your sword may win renown and victory. I would not see a thing that is high and excellent cast away needlessly. Nor would I, he said. Therefore I say to you, lady, stay, for you have no errand to the south. Neither have those others who go with thee. They go only because they would not be parted from thee, because they love thee. Then she turned and vanished into the night. When Aragorn leaves for the path of the dead, she sees in his leaving the hopes for herself and her people disappearing as well, and she succumbs to ultimate despair and desperation. Donning herself in mail and helm, she sets out to ride with her uncle's warriors, taking with her the other one who has been left behind, the hobbit Merry Brandybuck. She takes the name Durhelm, meaning hidden protector in Old English. Despite her newly taken role as warrior, there was always that innate, womanly nature of caretaker and gentle protector, and they serve to shield and care for the little hobbit, as together they enter into battle against the dark forces of Sauron. But battle is not the glorious thing that it is made out to be. Men die, and the fact that royal blood is running through your veins does not make you immune to the sword. Theoden King himself is brought down by the enemy. Now Éowyn is facing the Witch King himself, alone, with her wounded uncle behind her and a battle raging all around her. Her moment of glory is here. Éowyn, with the help of Merry the Hobbit, slays the Witch King in what is one of the most epic scenes in both book and film. There is almost a hint here that Éowyn is, at last, realizing her very unique position and is taking pride in who she is and what she has been given. But no living man am I. You look upon a woman. Éowyn I am, Éowyn's daughter. You stand between me and my lord and kin. Be gone if you be not deathless. For living or dark undead, I will smite you if you touch him. Yet glory comes with a price, and Éowyn is smitten by the black breath from her dying foe. She is taken at first to be dead, but is then conveyed to the houses of healing. The ensuing conversation between Gandalf, Aragorn, and Éomer as very enlightening as an insight into Éowyn's character. Both Aragorn and Éomer expressed their inability to truly understand the fullness of the woman lying before them, and Gandalf replies with words that make it clear how very close to despair Éowyn truly was, how she yearned so deeply to do something of true worth for her people, how very deeply she was wounded by the evil and darkness. Aragorn agrees with the grim reply. I have, maybe, the power to heal her body, and to recall her from the dark valley. But to what she will awake, hope or despair, I do not know. And if to despair, then she would die, unless other healing comes which I cannot bring. At last, for her deeds have set her among the queens of great renown. Aragorn's words proved true, for even though Éowyn is brought back from the brink of death, her hope is still lost, and her despair still strong. She is still determined to die on a field of battle, and in the midst of her search to find a way to fulfill her wish, she meets Faramir. And in the presence of Faramir, something begins happening. Faramir, son of Denethor, sees at once something in Éowyn which moves him, and he speaks to her quite boldly at their first meeting, telling her that she is beautiful and that she gives great hope to his heart. Éowyn seems to wish to trust him, to leave her despair, to allow him to love her, to love him back, but her heart is not quite ready for such. She departs, but already something in her is walking. They meet every day in the gardens of the Houses of Healing, walking together, sometimes in silence, sometimes in speech. Among the green things of the earth, among plants and flowers, Éowyn slowly allows herself to release the fears that have bound her so tightly all her life, and she lets her heart become vulnerable, ready to trust someone and let that someone help her. And suddenly she drew close to him. But love is harder to win than fear is to break, and Éowyn is not yet ready to allow herself that. Somewhere, deep inside of her, she still pines for Aragorn, glory, and the worth that seems to come with deeds of war. Faramir, who possesses some of the foresight and knowledge of hearts which his ancestors did, sees her struggle, and seeing it, he speaks again to Éowyn of her heart's fears and hopes. They are standing on the Tower of the Sun, bathed in a light of morning, high above the earth and the fields and the city. Faramir asks Éowyn if she loves him. I wish to be loved by another, she answered, but I desire no man's pity. That I know, he said. You desire to have the love of the Lord Aragorn, because he was high and puissant, and you wish to have renown and glory, and to be lifted far above the mean things that crawl on the earth. And as a great captain made to a young soldier, he seemed to you admirable. For so he is, a lord among men, the greatest that now is. But when he gave you only understanding and pity, then you desire to have nothing, unless a brave death in battle. Look at me, Éowyn. And Éowyn looked at Faramir long and steadily, and Faramir said, Do not scorn pity, that is the gift of a gentle heart, Éowyn. But I do not offer you my pity. For you are a lady high and valiant, and have yourself won renown that shall not be forgotten, and you are a lady beautiful, I deem, beyond even the words of the elven tongue to tell, and I love you. Once I pitied your sorrow, but now were you sorrowless, without fear or any lack. Were you the blissful queen of Gondor, still I would love you. Éowyn, do you not love me? Then the heart of Éowyn changed, or else at last she understood it, and suddenly her winter passed, and the sun shone on her. I stand in Minas honor, the Tower of the Sun, she said, and behold, the shadow has departed. I will be a shield maiden no longer, nor vie with the great riders, nor take joy only in the songs of slain. I will be a healer, and love all things that grow and are not barren. And again she looked at Faramir. No longer do I desire to be a queen, she said. Then Faramir laughed merrily. That is well, he said, for I am not a king. Yet I will wed with the White Lady of Rohan, if it be her will. And if she will, then let us cross the river, and in happier days let us dwell in fair Ithilien, and there make a garden. All things will grow with joy there, if the White Lady comes. Then must I leave my own people, man of Gondor, she said, and would you have your proud folks here of you? There goes the lord who tamed the wild Shieldmaiden of the north. Was there no woman of the race of Númenor to choose? I would, said Fairman. And he took her in his arms and kissed her under the sunlit sky, and he cared not that they stood high upon the walls in the sight of many. And many indeed saw them, and the light that shone about them as they came down from the walls, and went hand in hand to the houses of healing. Éowyn finally sees that one can be loved for who they are, not what they do. Fairman does not place any amount of dowry on his love. He will love her no matter what great deeds she has done, no matter how long she has wandered in despair. He sees her in a way that no one else has seen her before. He offers her unconditional love and acknowledges her innate worth, and Éowyn's heart accepts it. Now she sees the worth of things that before she may have scorned. Now she sees the worth in life itself. Now she will nurture and care for and live among growing things and living things because she knows and loves life. Her days of pining for death and war are over. She has found her worth. She has found her love, and Éowyn, Shieldmaiden of Rohan, has become the White Lady of Rohan. Éowyn, Shieldmaiden of Rohan, the White Lady, shows us the deepest longings of our hearts, and how those longings can drive us to desperate despair or to glorious hope. Many of us long to do something of true worth for our family, our friends, for our ward. Sometimes we need only to look around us. Sometimes we need only to see and understand that the work we have been doing is beautiful and worthy in itself, and we need not shun the opportunities we have been given. Or sometimes we need to recognize, as Éowyn did, that life in itself is beautiful and worthy, and our identity and worth is taken not from the things that we do, but who we are. With Fairman, Éowyn grew to understand and truly know her heart. In this simple yet powerful man, she was able to see more than glory and renown. She was able to feel true security and to understand that she was seen and appreciated as she was. She could sense his respect, love, and honor for her. She was able to let her heart feel his pain without the self-condemnation and fear that would have prevented it before, and in feeling that pain, she was able to be healed. It was not that her uncle or brother or her people did not love Éowyn. It was that her heart was so wounded, and that wound ran so deep, that she needed a man such as Fairman, lover of poetry and books and the earth, not a man of the sword and the battle, to break through that shell and open her heart and allow her to receive that love. Together, they healed the wounds and sorrows that were laid upon their hearts, and together, they became one in joy and love and the making of a new Arda. Thank you for joining with me today through the Word of Arda. Please like this video, subscribe to Shieldmaidens, and join us again so we can explore more of Middle-earth together. Namaste.